make him regret breaking up with you. If you are a guy and you've clicked on this video, keep it pushing. This one's for the ladies. First and foremost, right? What I am going to say, you may agree with it. You may not agree with it. But the reality of the situation is that every relationship has an element of power dynamics. It isn't just about love. And I know that's crushing because Disney has convinced you that it's all about the love and the romance and the birds and the butterflies and all of those things. And look, at the end of the day, that's what we strive for. I get that. And that is a huge element of a relationship. But at the end of the day, there is still a power dynamic within relationships. So yes, love is at the core, but we cannot negate the human condition and our need for bartering and all of those things, right? So ladies, men have been taught to appreciate and prioritize power. So being the best at work, picking the winning fantasy football team, being your best lover, etc. All of those things, right? There's a sense of natural competitive or the need to naturally be competitive and to be the best and to be on top and all of these things. So use that knowledge to counter his tactics. I'll give you a few things that you can start to do right away. But before we do, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. If you don't know who I am, my name is Danny, and I'm one of the head relationship coaches here at the With My Ex Again project. If you've already been part of the community for quite some time, then welcome back. So what is the first thing that you do? Number one, don't beg. If he breaks up with you, don't beg and plead. This will cause him to reflect at some point on your reaction, and he'll regret the decision that he made. He is likely used to women being needy after a breakup, so don't be that woman. And I know that's not the case for everybody, right? I know not everybody gets needy and clingy and begs and all of those things, but at the end of the day, I do empathize with you. You know, the situation is incredibly difficult. The experience itself is incredibly emotional, especially if you had planned a future with this person, especially if you've already built a life with this person and you have memories and you have all of these things that are now no longer there. I get it. But if you beg, if you plead, if you try to get him to come back any way that you possibly can, and you suffocate him and you do all of those things, it will only further push him away. His ego will kick in, his pride will kick in, his defense mechanisms will kick in. He'll feel bad about the situation, shameful, upset, frustrated, and he will create space. Now, that's not necessarily the case with every person, right? Because we also talk about attachment styles. Some people are avoidant, some people are anxious, some people are secure, but in general, I never recommend begging and pleading and doing all those things. And look, at the end of the day, if you already did that, it's completely understandable. It is a difficult situation to be in. You are a human being. You have feelings. But at this point, regain control of the situation. Navigate your emotions a little bit better, right? Regain control of those emotions and empower yourself. Focus on you. Process what you need to process, heal, do all the things that you need to do to build back up your self-confidence and your identity and that autonomous, independent, free thinking, adventurous person that he fell in love with or was attracted to in the first place. It is absolutely possible to get back to that person. You just have to give yourself some time and some space. Number two, live your life. You know, showing him that you are not going to crawl into a corner and die will force him to reevaluate his decision. He is probably thinking he was your world, and maybe he was, but at the end of the day, he doesn't need to do that. He doesn't need to be put into a position where he's thinking that, you know, oh, he's destroyed your life, or he feels bad about you, or that, you know, you were his world, and that just gives him control. That makes him feel like he can come back whenever it is that he wants. So he can take the time, he can take the space, he can do whatever he needs to do, and he can come back whenever he wants to come back. But realistically speaking, if you live your life, if you do your thing, if you lean on your support system, if you lean on your friends and your family, and you try new things and you get out there and you don't allow yourself to fall apart, what he is thinking is not the truth, which is going to make him think a little bit more. It'll cause a little bit more curiosity. It'll plant a seed of curiosity. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to become a robot and be emotionless and not feel the feels and process, right? Fall apart when you need to fall apart. But fall apart so he does not see that, right? Have your moments, process the emotions, let things go, and get out there. Lean on your support system. Don't isolate yourself, because that actually ends up being worse. And do what you have to do. The third thing is heal, right? When he comes back, because he will, you will need to have let go of any previous baggage that you are holding on to. You will have had to let go of the frustration and the anger and the resentment and all of these things. But keep in mind, it also depends on the reasons for why this person left. Disclaimer. In no way, if you are watching this video and you are trying to make your ex jealous and get them back, if they were toxic, if they were abusive, if they were any of those things, this is not the right video for you. Because in no way would I recommend somebody going back or jumping back into a relationship with somebody that impacted you in a negative way, right? There's no reason to go back to a relationship like that. If there is infidelity, if there's cheating, if there's any of these things, sure, it may not be the best situation. However, those are things that can be worked on, right? Your ex can actually have a moment of realization and say, crap, I really messed up. I'm going to do what I can to fix the situation and rectify it. But again, domestic violence, toxicity, any of those things, I do not recommend trying to get back into a relationship. So this video is not for you. Okay. Back to number 3. So healing, right? You have to let go of those emotions. Now, there are certain things that you may not be able to let go of before that person decides to come back, but the time and the space is there to help those feelings dissipate a little bit, to be less visceral. You may remember what it felt like, the hurt, the pain, all of these things, but you're not actually going to be able to physically feel that pain and that hurt like you did when the breakup occurred. And that is the most important part, because once we're able to step out of the subjective and move into the objective, we can properly heal and process and move on from the situation, and put yourself in a position to reattract this individual. The fourth thing is, don't be available. If he reaches out, it's okay to engage, but don't be too available, right? And again, it depends on your situation. Depends on how long you've been in no contact. Depends if you decided to utilize a no contact period. Maybe this person has a tendency of breaking up with you and coming back and breaking up and coming back, and they're following old patterns of behavior where they're disappearing for a week at a time and then messaging you, and then you're responding right away. And that's just enabling the situation. I say all of that because every person's situation is different. So I highly recommend booking a one-on-one coaching session, talking to one of the coaches, talking to myself if you feel like you need support in this situation, because it can be very difficult to manage. It can be very confusing, and it can impact us emotionally and mentally in a negative way. It is so important to have support, to gain a third-party objective, to understand the process and what the goal is and how to move towards it. So if you are in this situation, number 1, I empathize with you. I know how hard it is, but number 2, reach out. If that is something that you feel that you need, I will provide a link in the description box down below for a one-on-one coaching session. Again, completely up to you, but I highly recommend it. It'll help you through this process, because again, I know how incredibly confusing this can be. If you've been through this situation before, if you're currently going through it, if you got out of a relationship and moved on and you're happily in a new relationship, whatever the case may be, leave a comment down below. I read as many as I can, and I try to answer as many of them as I can. So in case you forgot, let's go through the 4 really quick, right? So the first one is don't beg. That's incredibly important. The second one is live your life. The third is heal. And the fourth is do not be too available. Again, my name is Danny. I am one of the head coaches here at the With My Ex Again project. I hope you guys are staying happy and healthy, and I'll see you guys in the next video.